Parasitic wasps always seemed like background noise to me. Just another insect laying eggs in another insect, nature's grim efficiency playing out on a small scale. But then I learned about glyptopantales, and the word parasitic suddenly felt inadequate. Because what glyptopantales does isn't just parasitism, it's something closer to enslavement. Here's what happens. A female wasp injects up to 80 eggs into a living caterpillar. The caterpillar keeps eating, keeps growing, seemingly fine. 2 weeks pass. Then the larvae erupt through the caterpillar's skin all at once, like tiny prisoners breaking out of a jail made of flesh. And here's where it gets strange. The caterpillar doesn't die. It stays alive, stops eating, positions itself over the wasp cocoons, and when predators approach, it thrashes violently, defending the very organisms that just burst out of its body. The caterpillar has become a bodyguard for its own parasites, and that's before you learn about the ones that stay behind.
Glyptopantales belongs to the family Braconidae, wasps whose ancestors first evolved during the early Jurassic period, roughly 200 million years ago. This was before flowering plants, before most modern insects, in a world dominated by conifers and cycads and the last of the great dinosaurs. Back then, the first parasitoid wasps were developing a strategy that would become one of evolution's most successful, using other insects as living incubators. But the real innovation came later. Around 73 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous, something extraordinary happened. A virus, likely from the nudibvirus family, infected an ancestor of modern braconid wasps. Instead of killing the wasp or being eliminated by its immune system, the virus integrated into the wasp's genome. It became part of the wasp's DNA. Over millions of years, the wasp domesticated this virus, weaponized it. Today, every glyptopantalus wasp carries these viral remnants as specialized genes. When a wasp injects its eggs, it also injects these viral particles, polyidnoviruses, which shut down the caterpillar's immune system. This wasn't an accident. This was natural selection solving a problem. How do you keep a host alive long enough to feed your offspring while preventing it from rejecting your eggs? Evolution's answer was biochemical warfare refined over 73 million years. The wasp doesn't just lay eggs, it injects a molecular toolkit that rewrites the host's biology. Here's what makes this adaptation so successful. Glyptopantalus species now exist on every continent except Antarctica. Scientists estimate over 1,000 species in tropical regions alone, with 309 formally described species. Each one carries this ancient viral partnership, each one executing the same basic strategy: survive inside, emerge, then manipulate what's left. Let me walk you through exactly how this works. Stage 1. Infection. The adult female wasp is small, just a few millimeters long, but her ovipositor is a precision instrument. She targets young caterpillars, usually in their first or second instar, when they're still small and vulnerable. In a single session, she can inject up to 80 eggs directly into the caterpillar's body cavity. The eggs float freely in the hemolymph, the insect equivalent to blood. Along with the eggs, she injects something else, those polyidnoviruses, millions of viral particles that immediately begin their work. Stage 2. Suppression. The caterpillar's immune system should recognize these eggs as foreign bodies. Normally, specialized blood cells called hemocytes would surround the eggs and destroy them through encapsulation, coating them in layers of cells and melanin until they suffocate. But the polyidnoviruses prevent this. They infect the hemocytes, literally rewriting how the caterpillar's immune cells function. One viral protein, called CROV1, breaks down actin filaments inside the hemocytes, making them unable to move properly or adhere to the wasp eggs. The caterpillar's body continues functioning, but its defenses are compromised at a molecular level. Stage 3. Development. For approximately 2 weeks, the wasp larvae grow inside the caterpillar. They're endoparasite koinobionts. They develop inside the host while allowing it to continue feeding and growing. This is crucial. If the caterpillar died too soon, the larvae wouldn't have enough resources to complete development, so they eat selectively, consuming only the caterpillar's fat body and hemolymph, non-essential tissues that can regenerate. The caterpillar grows to its 4th or 5th instar, expanding its body, unknowingly cultivating the mass that will eventually burst from its skin. During this time, the larvae molt several times inside the host, shedding their exoskeletons into the caterpillar's body cavity. The caterpillar's body becomes a graveyard of shed cuticles floating in its own hemolymph, but it continues eating, continues moving, shows no outward signs of infection. Stage 4, emergence. When the larvae are fully grown, they're ready to pupate. But pupation requires air, requires protection, so they leave. All at once, sometimes 80 larvae, they cut through the caterpillar's cuticle using their mandibles, tiny serrated jaws measuring less than 0.2 millimeters. They emerge through multiple exit wounds, synchronized. The caterpillar experiences massive trauma. Its exoskeleton is punctured in dozens of places. Hemolymph leaks from every wound. But somehow, it survives. Researchers still don't fully understand how. By all logic, this level of tissue damage should kill the caterpillar instantly, but it doesn't. And this is where the life cycle transcends simple parasitism and becomes something else entirely. Within hours of emergence, the caterpillar stops eating. It moves to position itself near the wasp cocoons, usually on the same leaf or twig. Its behavior changes completely. It becomes hypervigilant, responding to any disturbance with violent head swings. When researchers introduced stink bugs, natural predators of both caterpillars and wasp pupae, to the vicinity, almost all parasitized caterpillars attacked. They thrashed their heads in violent arcs, often knocking the predators off the vegetation entirely. Unparasitized caterpillars, by contrast, rarely responded this way. Only 1 out of 20 exhibited similar defensive behavior. Field studies showed this bodyguard behavior is devastatingly effective. When researchers removed the caterpillar guards, mortality among the wasp pupae doubled, jumping from roughly 13% to 26%. Pupae were attacked by ants, predatory bugs, and even hyperparasitoid wasps, and would lay their own eggs in the Glyptopantulus pupae. The caterpillar's presence halved this predation rate. So what does the caterpillar experience? We don't know if it feels pain. We don't know if it has subjective awareness of what's happening to it. Insects don't process pain the way vertebrates do. Their nervous systems lack the nociceptors that would register suffering in the way we understand it. But they do respond to damage. They do exhibit behavioral changes that suggest something is being registered. Before the larvae emerge, the parasitized caterpillar behaves normally. It eats, it moves. By all external measures, it's indistinguishable from a healthy caterpillar. Its nervous system continues functioning. Its ganglia, the segmented nerve clusters that serve as its distributed brain, continue sending signals to control movement, feeding, defensive responses. But after emergence, something changes at a fundamental level. The caterpillar stops eating entirely. In the wild, starvation means death within days for a growing larvae. But this caterpillar doesn't seek food. It stays near the pupae. When researchers dissected these bodyguard caterpillars, they made a crucial discovery. Not all the wasp larvae leave. 1 or 2, sometimes more, remain inside the caterpillar's body cavity. They're still alive, still active. This is what breaks the simple parasitism narrative. Those remaining larvae are somehow controlling the host. They've foregone their own chance to pupate and become adults. They're sacrificing their reproductive future to protect their siblings' cocoons. Through some mechanism, likely chemical, possibly hormonal, these larvae manipulate the caterpillar's nervous system to produce specific defensive behaviors. The caterpillar becomes a zombie in the literal sense, a body controlled by something other than its own nervous system. It stands guard over the cocoons for up to a week. It performs head swings that knock away predators 10 times more frequently than normal caterpillars. Its final days are spent defending the organisms that hollowed it out from the inside.
Every single bodyguard caterpillar observed in research studies died before the adult wasps emerged from their cocoons. None survived. The manipulation doesn't save the caterpillar. It merely delays its death long enough to protect the next generation of wasps. Glyptopantulus isn't unique in manipulating hosts, but it is unique in creating bodyguards. Other species in the same family take different approaches. Cotesia glomerata, another braconid, parasitizes cabbage white butterfly caterpillars. After the larvae emerge, the caterpillar doesn't thrash at predators. Instead, it spins silk over the pupae, creating a protective web. Same endgame, different tactic. The caterpillar becomes an architect instead of a soldier. Then there's Dinocampus coccinelli, which parasitizes ladybird beetles. A single larvae develops inside the beetle, eventually emerging to pupate between the beetle's legs. The beetle freezes in place, essentially becoming a living shield for the pupal cocoon tucked beneath it. It stands guard, unmoving, for days. In some cases, the beetle actually survives, though it's never clear if it recovers its normal behavior or remains altered. The genus Glyptopantulus itself contains over 309 described species, with potentially 1,000 species in tropical regions alone. Each one has evolved to target specific caterpillar hosts. Glyptopantulus liparides targets gypsy moth larvae. G. militaris specializes in armyworm caterpillars. G. portrethrii has been studied as a potential biological control agent because of how effectively it suppresses pest moth populations. But here's what unites them all: the bodyguard strategy. Across species, across continents, across millions of years of diversification, Glyptopantulus has refined this same tactic. Emerge from the host, leave sentinels behind, then manipulate the dying host into one last act of service. This isn't an evolutionary accident that happened once.
This is a strategy so successful, it's been preserved and perfected across an entire genus. Some researchers theorized the larvae that stay behind might be smaller or developmentally stunted, unable to compete with their larger siblings. Rather than dying uselessly, evolution has given them a role: guardians. Altruism driven not by choice, but by genetic programming older than human civilization. Can this happen to humans? No. Glyptopantulus exclusively targets lepidopteran larvae, caterpillars of moths and butterflies. The wasp's ovipositor isn't designed to penetrate human skin, and even if eggs were somehow introduced into a human body, they wouldn't survive. Our immune system is fundamentally different from a caterpillar's hemolymph-based system. The polydnaviviruses that suppress insect immunity have no effect on mammalian immune responses. There are no documented cases of Glyptopantulus attacking humans. You could handle these wasps. They're found in gardens, forests, agricultural fields across the world, and you'd face no danger. They're so small, most people wouldn't notice them. A few millimeters long, nondescript, they resemble countless other tiny wasps that visit flowers for nectar. But here's what disturbs researchers beyond the physical danger: the specificity of the manipulation. These wasps don't just kill their hosts, they don't just eat them, they reprogram them. They turn the host into a thing that performs a specific function, protection, without the host having any apparent choice in the matter. The caterpillar's nervous system remains active, its ganglia still firing signals, but those signals now serve the wasp's interests, not the caterpillar's. If Glyptopantulus teaches us anything, it's that we share a planet with organisms that have evolved the ability to control other nervous systems with surgical precision. The mechanisms differ. We don't have hemolymph or external exoskeletons, but the principle remains. Biological systems can be hijacked at the chemical level. Behavior can be externally controlled.
And while humans aren't at risk from these particular wasps, the conceptual horror remains. These insects have been practicing neurological manipulation for 73 million years. Nature has been running experiments in mind control before the first primates evolved. Is Glyptopantulus intelligent? Watch one select a host and you'd swear it was making decisions. The female wasp inspects multiple caterpillars before choosing one. She assesses size, developmental stage, whether the caterpillar has already been parasitized by a competitor. She injects eggs into the optimal host, young enough to provide growth time, but developed enough to supply sufficient resources. Then consider the larvae that stay behind after emergence. They don't pupate, they don't develop further. They remain inside the dying caterpillar, somehow producing the chemical signals that override the caterpillar's behavior. How do they know to stay? How do they know which defensive behaviors to trigger? Some scientists argue this is pure instinct, genetic programming so sophisticated it mimics intention. The wasps aren't making choices, they're executing a biological script written over millions of years of natural selection. The larvae that stayed behind were simply those that carried genes for producing certain chemical compounds at specific developmental stages. The ones that left were genetically programmed to emerge. No thought required. But other researchers point to the precision. The larvae emerge synchronously, suggesting some form of chemical communication. The bodyguard caterpillars respond differently to different types of threats. They're not just thrashing randomly, they're targeting approaching predators specifically. That suggests sensory processing, threat assessment, targeted response, all of which implies some form of information processing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. We don't know where instinct ends and cognition begins. Glyptopantulus has a nervous system so simple it barely qualifies as a brain. Just ganglia, clusters of neurons distributed throughout its body. No central processor, no structure analogous to consciousness. Yet it executes a multi-stage parasitic strategy that requires host selection, immune suppression, synchronized emergence, and post-emergence behavioral manipulation. Either these wasps are running on programming so sophisticated it outperforms conscious thought, or we're dramatically underestimating what simple nervous systems can achieve. Either possibility is unsettling, because if it's pure programming, then we have to accept that extraordinarily complex behaviors don't require minds. And if there is some form of minimal cognition happening in those distributed ganglia, then we have to expand our definition of what thinking means. What keeps me up at night isn't whether Glyptopantulus is conscious, it's the realization that consciousness might not matter. These wasps have been manipulating hosts with chemical precision for longer than humans have existed as a species. They've been rewriting neural programs, hijacking nervous systems, creating zombie bodyguards, all without requiring anything we'd recognize as intelligence. So what does Glyptopantulus reveal about nature? Evolution doesn't care about suffering. It doesn't care about autonomy or dignity or the integrity of the self. It cares about reproductive success, about which genes persist and which disappear. And sometimes the most successful strategy is turning another creature into an instrument for your own survival. We're disturbed by this because it violates our assumption that organisms should control their own behavior. We believe at some fundamental level that a creature's actions should serve its own interests, but Glyptopantulus proves that assumption wrong. The bodyguard caterpillar's behavior serves the wasp. Its final days of violent head-swinging, of standing guard without eating, of slowly starving while defending the cocoons that emerged from its body, none of this benefits the caterpillar. It's purely mechanically in service to another organism's reproductive success. Right now, somewhere in a forest or garden near you, a female Glyptopantulus is injecting eggs into a caterpillar. The caterpillar doesn't know what's been done to it. For 2 weeks, it will eat and grow, expanding its body while tiny larvae consume it from within. Then they'll emerge, burst through its skin in a coordinated exodus. One or two will stay behind, and the caterpillar will become a thing it was never meant to be, a guardian for something that killed it. The mechanisms, the polynavaviruses, the chemical manipulation, the neural hijacking, we're only beginning to understand these, but the larger question remains unanswered. If a simple wasp can rewrite another organism's behavior with such precision, what does that tell us about the nature of control, of agency, of what it means to be acting according to your own will? And that's what really disturbs me. Not that this happens, but that it works.